and I'm going to welcome you to my 14 by 14 inch canvas. I'm going to do a scoop and drag, a swipe and scoop and drag and spin. And I have found recently, and I'm going to try and do this as quickly as possible because I don't have as much time as I usually have, but I found recently that if I add a layer of paint around the outside edge of the canvas, that the interior puddle that I use benefits greatly, or spreads out, and you need it to be thin enough so it doesn't crack while it's drying. And I'm going to start by using Prizm pours and primary elements. I am one of 15 videos in the ColourArte Affiliates Winterfest, and each affiliate has their own channel, and on that channel there will be a channel prize for those of you who comment and subscribe. Or if you're in it for the grand prize is $400 shopping spree at ColourArte, and what you'll need is all the words in the phrase or the quote. I don't think I'm going to worry about spreading that paint out anymore. And it needs to be turned in by January 27th at midnight. And you'll have some time to do that. This is Mayan Gold. That's a Prizm pour. This is Indian Spice. Another Prizm pour. I believe it might be both, actually. This is Jasmine, a primary element. These are some of my favorite colors recently to use in this technique. This is Royal Sapphire. I'm going to use some Wild Orchid. I'm not making any sense with my marks, but this is Icy Iris. This is a Prizm pour, excuse me, a primary element. I try and randomize my color selection so that it comes out interesting. This is Snapdragon, and it occurs to me I've got one more color, Tempting Tulip, coming right up. I haven't used any Snapdragon to do one of these, but I've wanted to, so now's the time. And this is Tempting Tulip. I'm going to use some Australian Floetrol Cell Activator. And I forgot that I have Quinacridone Nickel Azo Gold from Golden. And I hope it decides to blend with everything else, because usually I add it right after the gold and I forgot. So let's grab a large palette knife, throw my spatula in the bucket so the paint doesn't dry on. The spatula is an OXO omelet turning flip and fold spatula from Good Grip's best paint spreading tool I know of. I'm going to use black and white cell activator and add some Mayan Gold to the mix. Maybe I'll do something a little different. Maybe I'll add a little bit of the Royal Sapphire and some of the Jasmine, because I can. Got some good cell action. Throw that right in the bucket. I'm going to grab my smaller palette knives. I have a flat edge, a round front, a wedge front, and one more over here that is a favorite. Actually, a couple more over here. The large and that. Those are beautiful cells today. Wow! So the beauty of a scoop and drag is being able to take the paint and move it across the puddle and spread it out so that when it spins out, it helps create new patterns that add dimension to the painting. And it's nice and warm in my studio today, so things seem to be spreading very nicely. This is the most time-consuming part of this, is doing the scoop and drags. And the more times you scoop, break the seal by pulling up, the more times you scoop and then drag over different areas, the more interesting the composition will become. Or that, so far, is my experience. Paint is nice and deep today. It's always a little heartbreaking for a moment when I'm covering over some amazing cells. And it's hard to want to slow down, but if you slow down, you get better cell formation. But I'm short on time, so I'm afraid I might be wasting some beautiful patterns if I don't force myself to slow down. So, when the timer goes off, it'll let me know to share with you my secret words from the phrase that you'll need to enter the $400 shopping spree from ColourArte. There will be more information underneath the video to tell you what you need to know. Sorry, it's hard to try and deliver the content of the Winterfest and do a fairly decent job of what I want to do, which is create a lot of crossovers. And I'm loving how my colors turned out, and I'm hoping it spins out half as nice as it looks right now. And I'd prefer we don't. I think I'm going to try and scoop and drag right up until the moment we get the timer to go off. And I'm wondering if I set it. Yeah, I did. I said it. Wow. I'm doing all right. That's never bad news. No, I can't go in those cells. I'm going to do something about that right now. If you leave large areas of one color or a swath of color or pattern, they're going to spread out like you wouldn't believe. So that's one of the best reasons I can think of to keep right on scooping and dragging. But in that case, I just created a large area that's going to spin out and be a lot of one color, maybe one more. I never get tired of what happens when you do this. Also, it's a good point to note, you can drag through the white, but you can also use a skewer to add some interest to your eventual composition after you pop that bubble. And my secret word, hang on, my secret word is a candle. Now, I think I've looked at this fairly well. That might have been a mistake. So long as I don't see any canvas, I usually feel fairly confident that I can do whatever I want. Did I leave myself a skewer handy? Let's do a little bit of modification and add a couple spirals, because I just love the way they look. I don't mind them in the white either. Not that the white, pretty much everything around the edge will disappear. Unfortunately, if you like it like I do sometimes, you can't do anything about that, because you need the paint that's heavy in the center to thin out so that it will dry without cracking. I think I mentioned that once already. And if you do have some of these big areas like this and you want to do something to change that, now's the time with the skewer. Okay, I'm going to get my extra paint out of the way, and we're going to spin this puppy out, and hopefully I can set up my cell phone so that I'll be able to shimmer this at you. I am hopeful about that. Get the rest of my tools out of the way. And bring my barrier into place, which is covered with paint. Now, that looks pretty awesome, and I'm hoping that it's just half as awesome when it spins out. Let's make sure I'm clearing my back wall. Ready? First one way and then the other. Sometimes I'll tip before I spin, I'll tip just to spread the paint out that might be in a puddle that's different in different areas. That's pretty cool. One more spin, well, one more in each direction. I should have rested that so you could see it for a little bit longer. Now this is one of those times when I wish I had put more spirals in, but it doesn't mean that I can't, because I can. I've learned my lesson. Don't hesitate. If you want to do something, do it. And whatever marks you put in, if they're scraping down to canvas, they'll probably still fill in. Yeah, I definitely enjoy a few spirals added. And check the center of your spiral for bubbles, and you're going to want to pop them. That's better. That one big mark was kind of distracting me. And I will be popping bubbles, like I said, with a skewer, and I will also probably attempt to do something that's a little precarious. If you're not experienced, don't use a torch. Well, I hope that's as pretty from your direction as it is from mine. And I've got more bubbles to pop, there's no doubt about it, but I think it's time for me to get right down there and shimmer this at you. And there are some beautiful colors in there. Some beautiful ColourArte Prizm pours and primary elements and blingets. And thank you for joining me. I hope you come again. I post at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on my Fluid Art channel. I love you guys. Take care of each other. I'll see you anon. Priscilla out.